Girls dressing. I'm curling a boy's hair. This isn't normal.
Wow. It's long.
I love that dress.
So it's kind of normal.
I think I really curled
With like the slip? Yeah, the slip is the issue.
Eva, what has been your favorite part of this year's production?
Keeping Bertha under control.
So, hi Kirsten, tell us what character you were playing in Jane Eyre.
I am playing Miss Fairfax. She is a late 60s age housekeeper at the Thornfield Hall, and she is, needless to say, in everyone's business and a little bit crazy. And she is a really fun character to get to play. I've read the book, and you know, as I was reading it, she was always my favorite character. I mean, besides Jane, I mean, everyone loves her, but in the books, she was just so funny, and then I'm just so honored to get to play her.
Okay, so give us a little glimpse into Jane's mind.
Well, Jane is, first of all, falling in love with Rochester, who is, I mean, she's trying to figure all the secrets out about him, and she doesn't know whether he loves her back, but she can't help falling in love with him, and she has no parents. She really has nobody in the world, so she just feels lonely, and she feels accepted at Thornfield, which is good for her, but she still, it's hard for her not to revert back to her old feelings, and Rochester's kind of helping her.
I hear your cherished voice across the northern sky. Will I not sanction you with all the love my heart can give? Never my hands are every youthful toy, and you will leave me.
So, what has it been like for you, having read the book, to now create that story on stage and specifically creating the character of Jane?
It's fun, but it's hard. I mean, reading the book, you get a good glimpse into Jane's mind, and you get to see what she's thinking, and I just remember those terrible stories from when she was younger, and it just carries onto the stage. And it's fun because, you know, I read the book and I loved Jane, and it's fun to be here.
The music for the show is extremely challenging. How do you feel like you're handling that, and what are some things that you feel like you've done to prepare for the music in this show?
I listen to it frequently, almost every day. It's very challenging. I mean, I've worked on it with my voice teacher. I've practiced over and over, but it's very challenging.
Is that what you would consider to be the most challenging part of the show, is the music, or?
Yeah, I mean, with working working the dialogue in between the cues and stuff, and just knowing when to come in it's very hard. But also the melodies themselves.
We're here with Emily Hornsby, and Emily, what do you think about the comparison between the book and the show of Jane Eyre?
They're very similar, and I really like how they really didn't leave anything out. Like, no big details. It's probably like the closest I've ever seen between a show and a book. Like, there are a lot of musicals that were books before, and they're not near as close as this one is. And I think it's really cool how they kept the characters the same, like the time periods like exactly the same, and even like the littlest details were the same.
So did you like the book?
I love the book. I read it twice, and then I wrote my senior paper on it.
Do you like the book or the show better?
The show, because it's a musical and I love music.
So do you think people should come see Jane Eyre?
They should come see Jane Eyre because it's awesome.
Yes. Whose house is it?
Mr. Rochester.
Ah, Mr. Rochester. What's he like?
No, I don't know. I've never met him, but I believe
He's a brute, I hear. A thoroughly violent, unpleasant fellow, not to be trusted with man, nor beast.
I've heard no such thing.
But you can't be a servant at the hall, surely. You're too refined.
I am the governess.
The governess, of course. Well.
So Charlotte, tell us what character you were playing in Jane Eyre.
In Jane Eyre, I am playing Adele.
Okay, and tell us about the character of Adele.
She is very dramatic. She is French, and she likes to bother Rochester. And yeah.
So what are some things you've had to do as far as preparation for the French dialect?
Well, you really had to work on it a lot and really listen to the CDs because it's a lot different than talking regular.
Yeah. What are some of the differences between an English or an American dialect and a French dialect?
Well, like if you're saying the, instead of saying the, you would say z.
Okay.
And you wouldn't like really say your T's, you would use an S instead of a T.
So you've been working with the dialect coach, Amy, right?
Yes.
And then also working with some dialect CDs as well. And so do you feel like you have perfected the French dialect?
I think. But, like, I don't know for sure.
We'll find out, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, which 2 shows are you performing in? Which 2?
I'm performing in Saturday night and Sunday afternoon.
And you think people should come see Jane Eyre?
Yes.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what has it been like for you, having read the book? You said a couple of times. Having read it a couple of times, what has that been like for you to now create that story on stage?
It's been real fun because I've gotten to see how my character, how Charlotte Bronte described my character and how mean and dignified she is.
And tell us what character you're playing.
I am playing Lady Ingram, who is Maud Ingram, and she has 3 children. She's very rich, she's a widow, she's very pompous, very just like, oh, this person's below me, so I'm not going to talk to him.
So for those of the audience members out there, or potential audience members who have read Jane Eyre, would you encourage them to come see the show?
Yes, the show just kind of gave more of a personal aspect to it. You can really see them acting this out. You can feel like you're really watching it.
Come see our show. It'll be the coolest thing you've ever seen in your whole entire life.
Awesome!
Keegan agrees. Anyway, it'll be really cool. And we
We
worked really
all
hard.
agree.
Rayma agrees.
The show just
Parker
has
agrees.
essence of great.
Everyone agrees.
Yeah,
so
we
you
all
have
agree.
to come. It's like unanimous.
Now!
All the people in the show agree, so.
Yeah, Maggie agrees. Eva agrees.
Would you
Even-
say that all the hard work has paid off?
It will.
Definitely.
Just look at the face.
Look at the face.
Look at the face. It
Does
says
that
it all.
face lie to you? I think not.
Exactly.